I got it up on a cardboard stand, taking that back axle apart. I took it apart already, but I found out what happened was this axle shaft on this side, the ring gear, I guess. Well, not the ring gear for this, but the ring gear for the axle sheared off on the inside, where the axle has like a flat spot where it sits on there. And so the rear axle really didn't shear any teeth off. It just where the metal axle meets that plastic gear right inside of there, right inside the differential housing. It just spun out on the inside of that gear housing. So I'm gonna take it apart and JB weld the whole deal and solid axle it until my metal diff comes in the mail. Alright, I already took all the screws off, and I slipped one of the axle ends off. I'm about to slip the other one off. And just comes right off. And don't forget it has the bearing in the end of that housing. Make sure you don't misplace that. I like to keep them in the housing that they came in. Keep track of that. And I already took those screws out, so really just gotta get your fingernail in between there and separate the housing. There's your pinion gear in there. Plastic. I already took this apart to try to reset that gear in there, but I tightened the screw down and put a little bit of super glue on it, and it didn't work. So we're gonna go with JB Weld. I'm gonna take this apart and clean it up. Alright, took the 4 screws out, and that is the gear that slipped on those. It's got like, I don't know if you can see it. See, there's a flat spot right there. And that gear just spins right around on that rod. And here's the spider gears, all plastic. You can just push that down and it comes right out. I have to clean that all off. Spider gear there. And I tried to glue this gear. As well. I really didn't need it, but I just glued it in anyway. But I'm going to JB weld that, and then stick it back together with the 4 screws right there. And hopefully that will lock it up permanently to JB Weld. I don't have any brake cleaner, so I'm going to use some soapy water. I just want to show you, I pulled the ring gear off. I guess that's what you call it, or the axle gear. It sits on there. Alright, that wheel is stable and the pin is in, but you see how I can spin that? I'm not supposed to be able to do that. And that's actually what went wrong. The spider gears and the ring gear and all that, the pinion gear, that's all in good shape. Which I'm surprised, because this thing does wheelies out the box, and I was doing some crazy gravel drifts and donuts and launches and 4-wheel burnouts and everything else with it. And I was expecting some sheared teeth in here, but that's kind of a letdown that it just slipped on that one little thing. But got almost everything cleared up. Just got to do the spider gear and the housing. Check out that mural. I love that thing. Back at it. I got all of this disassembled, except for this side. I did not disassemble that because I already took it apart, and it didn't need to be taken apart, and I super glued it, put it back together previously, and it just doesn't need to be taken apart. It'd be too much of a hassle. I'm just gonna get some JB Weld down in there and squeeze it down. But make sure when you put it in there, don't put it in there when it's down there, because you're gonna have it all the way down this axle shaft, all the way down in here near where that bearing needs to be, and you don't want it around that bearing. You want it up against this gear right here. So make sure you get it up on that gear, and then you slide the housing forward onto the JB Weld. And see the notches? And see the notches in the two metal pieces right there. Those are for the spider gears. Just make sure you line up the notches, put the spacers on there. I'm just going to reassemble it like normal, but without the grease. Instead of grease, it's going to be slam full of JB Weld. Hopefully that will fix the issue I'm having with this gear, this axle spinning inside of that gear right here. And there's the screw for it. I had to clean out the super glue for all the previous attempts. Well, the previous attempts. And I'm just going to get some super glue or JB Weld up in there behind that. But make sure you don't get any on the ring gear, because that's what contacts your pinion inside the housing, and that's just not necessary. Alright, I'm going to put it back together. Alright, I got the pinion or spider gears back together. Make sure you get them little pieces on the end. Well, I don't think it much matters once I put that JB Weld in there, but that's how you're supposed to put it together. But yeah. Let me get some JB Weld mixed up, and then we'll start reassembling it with the JB Weld. Alright, I'm ready to mix it up. I'm just going to use the back of this thing for the first use. I don't really need to keep this box. And I got some skewers, or pieces of a bamboo skewer. I'm going to mix it up and use it to put it in there. Alright, like I said before, make sure you don't get it down the axle shaft. I just put a gob on there. Sorry for my shakiness. Gob on there just enough so I can slide that up and it goops up on the inside, and then I can fill it the rest of the way. It's down in there. Make sure you don't get it in the screw holes like I did. I'm going to put some more in there and put the spider gears in. Alright, coated that pretty well. Can you even see it? Make sure you line it up properly. Those screw heads for screw holes are supposed to be in the corners right there of the gears. I need to reassemble that and put that in on the other side. Alright, that gear just slides on there. Make sure you put your washer in there. And I'm just going to put a dab around the outside. Make sure you don't flood the threads right there. Alright, I've got that welded up gently. Don't want to do too much so you can still screw it together. You need to do this quickly. A filled diff full of JB Weld. And there it is, reassembled. Went back in pretty cleanly. I did get some on those teeth a little bit, but I just cleaned it out with my pointy end of my pick. And as you can see, when I turn that wheel, you can see the axle pin, and you can see it disappear. And there's the other side of the axle pin for the left side. As I move the right side, the left side moves. I'm not going to put any real pressure on it, because obviously it's still super fresh, super wet. Oh, there goes the wheel. And tap that axle pin out so you know I had it connected. Axle pin right there. So yeah, I'm not going to assemble it because that stuff in there might bind up with that gear. I don't want that to happen. I don't mind some of it being on there because it'll just strengthen the plastic more than anything. I don't think it's not gonna become an issue because there's not any actually in the teeth because I cleaned it out. So there you go, and I'll get back with you once it dries in 15 to 18 hours, it says on the box.